It's 15:12 on the 5th of November, and I'm going to upload in the best interest of young people that are, I suppose, curious and interested in different faith values. This is from the recovery advocate perspective. As a recovery advocate and as a practitioner, it's obligatory for us to be acquainted with the faith systems and faith values that are important to all different groups in society, all ethnicities and all nationalities. So as a practitioner and an advocate, I have an obligation to make this upload. It's regarding our faith, religion and spirituality, right in the declaration. So there's a little bit of an issue being caused in this community, as everybody's aware. There has been a consequence to bad practices and faith offences that have been conducted in this community against my good name, character and reputation. Now, as I've mentioned throughout all of these matters, I hold royal titles. I'm a born royal. I have natural birthrights. I'm a married mother, and I'm 5 years supporting myself, and I am married within the Roman Catholic Church, and I've experienced very serious losses, damages, injuries and so on and so forth as a married mother in a democracy, and it's the year 2023. So it's very serious that there have been legal obstructions to my marital rights. That's a human rights abuse. It's quite dangerous that there have been individuals that have imposed upon my nuptials within the Roman Catholic Church. But as an independent, self-supporting adult, lone woman, qualified professional and a born royal, there have been issues about people causing offence to not just blood and Hippocratic oath rights, but those people that have gone beyond and repeated the cycle of their offences and crimes against my spiritual faith and religious rights. So harm ye none is one of the biggies, and in County Kerry there's been a lot of harm caused to my bodily integrity, and it's not just visible, it's also like in daily occurrences, daily experiences, daily activities, and the issue of the Hippocratic is coming into play as well, with the practitioners misdiagnosing, prescribing inappropriately, discussing matters that aren't actually within their remit, and disclosing matters that aren't true. So in so many aspects there's so many points that I could be establishing, but most pertinently the Hippocratic and the faith violence. It's very, you can't see it, you can't touch it, but it's happening, and there might be people, this is for budding aspirants, the people that are out there just starting and just learning about the path, the way, the road, the journey. And at the moment, for the past 5 years, there have been individuals that have been causing offence against my bodily integrity and my faith and religion, and that's quite serious, as it has impacted, the codes of conduct. There are laws that guide all faith practices, and unfortunately when they are offended, then there is a repercussion. So those that haven't adhered to the laws and that have still gone over the line and still insisted on causing offence are still guilty of breaching the codes of conduct, where I am due huge reparations for damages that have been caused inexcusably. So these people took it upon themselves to do a little bit of collective religious practice and cause very dangerous harm, and broke one of the first biggest rules of all, and the commandments as well, I might add. So it's quite dangerous what's going on, what I'm being presented with. I suppose it's a life challenge, it's a learning curve, but those people that have offended, the protection, we're like, we have physical, real-time protection, then we have our spiritual protection, and that's a cultivation process. So I'm on a cultivation process for a very long time, and I've done it as a mental health practitioner and as a mental health advocate with narcotics Narcotics Anonymous. So there are huge rules and laws around privacy, around confidentiality and anonymity. And in County Kerry, there's been a problem with people that have been chatting about circumstances that I don't give them permission to speak of, that they had no right to speak of, and that they don't have full information to disclose properly what they are speaking of. So there's a lot happening. The sticks and stones is one issue, but the needles and pins is another. So those people that are still doing bad practice might be careful and look back in the past few weeks and months and years in County Kerry, the repercussions for continuing faith violence against my royal name, position and titles. Those that are insisting on being rude to my practice, please follow spiritual etiquette. I'm saying this in the best interest of young people that are starting on the path. There have been repercussions in County Kerry with me being offended. As I said, there are people that aren't praying properly and they're not practicing properly, and they certainly don't have right of way, and that's not just with my farmland. So anyway, that's to do with faith, religion and spirituality. Those that are in recovery and enjoying the reforms that have happened as a consequence of my child being taken from me illegally, I wish you all the best of luck. And I really am one of those that I've had that up to there with people not doing what they're supposed to be doing. So it's a sad sign of the times. And those that are of bad faith practices, please be careful. And those that are preying on my personal being, I'm of whistleblower protection law, I'm of royal protocol, and I'm a married mother and property owner of legislation. So please be careful about causing me more offence, as my humanitarianism and my state service has saved people's health. So that is just a heads up to people that are causing problems in our society and not respecting what they're living from in all shapes and sizes and all shapes and forms and in all ways and means and matter. So those people that don't have respect for what they have, unfortunately, you know what happens. It brings it all into a place of denigration. And those that have denigrated from my portfolio out of spite or malice, again, I think they need to address their position with the deadly sins. So that's as much as I have to say. Those that are in contempt or in breach of the faith practice, the faith laws, don't please put yourselves or your children at risk thinking you're greater than God or the goddess, you know what I mean, whichever way you perceive it. Don't think that it's safe to be vile against people's faith. This collective community in County Kerry has caused very serious worldwide problems, and I'm not just talking or referring to monetary. They have caused implications in people's safety and security, and that's quite serious. So as I've prospered and protected people along my way, those that haven't paid their dues are a liability to their families. And if they're not following the law, they're a hazard to the state and they're not considered royal, okay? So that's a really important point. And those that have offended the basic codes, and those that are funding my nuptials or supporting legal obstructions in my nuptials, or those that have disrespected advocacy or mental health reforms that have originated from my experiences, strengths and hopes, then I have concerns for the sanity and sobriety and the disrespect to fellowship and federation that is in this country, that has had huge developments and huge progress. So those that are bringing that into a place of disrepute or disrespect or denigration are regressing into a place that isn't progress, and it's definitely not first class standards. So those people that are working at a lower level and lower standards, I'm trying to empathize. So I suppose that people are choosing not to do what they're supposed to be doing. So that's how accidents happen. That's how people have loss and damage and harm. But as people have duties and jobs, they have salary that they're taking, they might as well do what they're paid to, besides incurring a problem with incompetency. So the sooner that everyone learns from this properly, and you know, the errors, people that can't correct their mistakes aren't fit for purpose. So those that continue doing the wrong in any context with the Constitution or the Declaration or with people's lives and health, you know, it's quite serious. So this is for the interest, I suppose, of the European Council. I'm contacting the European Parliament since 2019, and Ireland, County Kerry is putting up a blockade against royal mother who they're living off the wealth and fortune of and hoping to venture onto the farmland of. So these are huge crimes, and it's not safe to support crime or corruption, especially with all the crime prevention I've initiated. So people's lives are being put at risk again. And when people aren't respecting their obligations and offending faith with bad practice, we've seen the implications of people offending my faith and religion, and they've offended innocent life, my little son as well. So it's a sad sign of the times. I hope the European Parliament is aware of how serious the problems in Southwest Ireland are. It's like the absolute power and the pestilence, you know, it pollutes, and they have polluted, and we're all still paying the price. So those that are enjoying health and wealth recovery, I hope you're aware of where it's originated from, and anyone that's still stuck in the place of bad etiquette or bad standards, etc. I could say so much. There is an issue with people presenting this country in a bad light.